it truly is incredible. I don't think enough is being made over the fact, yeah, we talk about the attrition and everything like that, but not enough is being made over the fact that the Chiefs are beating teams with a B game script right now because that's all they can run with both sides of the ball because of injuries, because of dudes that are just not able to, they're so deep in the depth chart. Like it is pretty incredible to watch that. So this might be the first and only time this season that we see Andy Reid and Steve Spagnuolo fully in their bag. And oh yeah, it just happens to be the Super Bowl.
And they held back. They couldn't run anything, so some stuff might be left over that they haven't put on tape quite yet. Like that's the reality of it, because there's a lot of attrition that this team dealt with in the Bengals game. It's frankly, it's amazing. Like the more I think about what Patrick Mahomes hobbled with literally 3 receivers left on the active roster, it's remarkable. I think it's kind of worth starting with the injuries. Like I think that's a place to go because we're starting to get some updates and some stuff of what to expect with this group, and yeah, this team didn't have any, like literally didn't have any receivers to play with left. Like it was over. And the Marcus Kemp's playing. It sounds like McCole Hardman doesn't seem optimistic for McCole Hardman to be playing in this next game. He's trying to tough it out, but I don't think the Chiefs will expect McCole Hardman back, Matthew.
I didn't get the vibe that Andy Reid is anticipating McCole Hardman to be able to practice and get ready for this game. He talked a lot about how hard he worked, how tough he was for going out and playing against the Bengals. Sounds like it's something that he really pushed for. And we saw it when he was on the field. He didn't look the same as what he normally does. When he was getting some of these ends arounds and running with the ball in his hand, he really wasn't trying to explode or run 100 miles an hour into contact. He was trying to pick and choose where he was going and then kind of go down with ease. The first time he took a big shot, which was a big bad hit that he took, the way he got twisted up, it immediately led to him having to exit the game. So I would be excruciatingly surprised if McCole Hardman was able to get it ready for this game again. And even if he does, let's say he does get going, I wouldn't expect much more out of him than what you saw against the Bengals, which I don't think would have been particularly useful if it wasn't for the fact that Kadarius Toney had already left the game.
Yeah, I think that's the real key there. Kadarius Toney gets 4 snaps, touches the ball on 3 of them, It was something that was a clear focus for them.
I think he was getting the ball.
Yeah, I think he was getting the ball.
He was getting the ball.
Yeah, McCole was thrust into a bigger role. I'm almost certain of it. I think they were trying to ease him in a little bit, keep him on a little bit of a snap count, get the ball in his hands a little bit and see how he feels, but obviously had to go out there and tough it out. That's a tough hit that he took for a guy with an abdominal injury. Like he got folded up pretty hard on that catch. Really tough hit. Doesn't sound like he's going to be available, but honestly, that might be the only guy that the Chiefs are without in the Super Bowl, and that is pretty impressive if that's the case.
Yeah, I think it's 8-9 days till the Super Bowl, but we're looking here and there's some positive trending outside of McCole Hardman, and that's really what I kind of want to look at. Like I think this team has figured out how to operate without a McCole Hardman. Kadarius Toney and Juju Smith-Schuster are the ones on the offensive side of the ball I'm really paying a lot of attention to. And it sounds like Juju Smith-Schuster probably won't get a ton of work in this week. They're going to kind of let the knee settle down from what it sounds like. And then Kadarius Toney seems to be trending in the right direction as well, but it doesn't seem like he's going to be getting a ton of work too. Let's just say one of those guys comes back, Matthew. How excited are you for just getting one of those guys back?
I think it depends on how healthy they are, how much or what they can do on game day too, right? It's one thing to be able to go out there, but as soon as you actually start facing the live bullets, what are you going to get from either one of them? So on one hand, I really think that Kadarius Toney, getting him back would mean a lot for this team. We've seen what this offense looks like when they don't have that gadget player, that dynamic athlete playing wide receiver. So I would like to say that he is the guy that would do the most coming back for the Chiefs, and getting him back would mean a lot. They could probably get by if that was the case without a Juju Smith-Schuster, and they can overcome some of that with Sky Moore, with Justin Watson or Marcus Kemp, with going heavy personnel. I don't know how you can manufacture the dynamic ability that Hardman and or Toney would be bringing. So I think if you're getting him back, that's big. The only issue is, how do you trust him to stay healthy throughout an entire game at this point?
Yeah, that's like Maddie said during the post game. It seems like that man's feet move faster than the rest of him. Like they just kind of put a lot of strain on his body, and that's kind of been his knock throughout his career. But my goodness, he is so dynamic and so electric with the ball in his hands that he more than makes up for, you know, what they might be missing with a guy like McCole Hardman. You know, they're going to need that dynamic horizontal stretch ability. We've talked about it throughout the year, especially when they get into the red zone. It is absolutely necessary that they are able to stretch the field horizontally in those scenarios. And they do that a lot with guys like McCole Hardman and guys like Kadarius Toney. So he's going to be required for this game. Yes, Juju is a major piece of this, and it sounds like he's going to play. And Juju, if he's a full go in the Super Bowl, I expect some of the fire game plan that they were planning to have for him to come back a little bit and him to play a big role in this offense. It just feels like Kadarius Toney, especially here in the playoffs, is just that little bit more that he can bring to the table, that little bit of extra that he can push forward there within this offense, that they just don't have another guy that they can slot into that role or even fill it halfway decently at this point, especially if McCole Hardman is out.
So it's kind of interesting. I look at the stats. I'm just looking at like the stats from the Jaguars game, and Kadarius Toney got 7 targets. He was the only other pass catcher outside of Travis Kelce to get more than 2 targets in the game, and he got pretty involved pretty heavily. 1 carry for 14 yards. I'm stunned at how much he's being used. And we all kind of thought, you know, like there's a role for him. He makes sense. He's a great long-term answer.
Let's rewind a second to Andy Reid just downplaying his contribution this year completely.
I know.
Like, you know, this talent. You know, this is a guy that makes a lot of sense for us going forward and all that. Andy secretly just has all the Kadarius plays tucked right here in his front pocket, just waiting. Like
they're literally in his pocket while he's talking about it. Like,
yeah.
That's just like, it's the special teams value. It's like they used him. It wasn't like he's in the plans. He's in this year's plans. Like, and that's just so crazy to see how active and how involved he's been. And he's like, I get it, because like he's a dynamic playmaker. He's a guy that brings a unique skill set. He's, you know, something that this team didn't have. There is a different kind of juice. He's not linear. He's explosive. He can change directions. Like you said, he might be too explosive. Like, he might be too explosive for his own good and for his own body. And I don't know. Like, he just brings a different element to this game. I'll ask you this, Craig. You can only get one of Kadarius or Juju Smith-Schuster back.
No.
Who are you taking? Healthy.
I don't.
100% healthy.
I don't want to take. Do I guarantee that they finish the game healthy?
Yes.
This hurts me because Juju has meant so much to the offense throughout the year. So very much. And he would mean so much to the offense in the Super Bowl, but it seems like they've got a package set of plays for Kadarius. And if you could guarantee me that they're going to get through those 15 plays or whatever it is that they've got on the field for Kadarius, I feel like he's going to do so much with those 15 plays that he's going to make up for the 30 plays that they're going to be missing out on Juju, who's just going to go, he's going to do his business and he's going to do it really well. And he's going to be open for Patrick Mahomes, but the offense will be so much more explosive with Kadarius out there. And I think they kind of might need that a little bit.
It's kind of been interesting to watch. His volume has continually dropped. And it's like he's had here's his last 5 games. Juju Smith.
Yeah, go ahead. Yeah.
3 catches, 2 catches, 2 catches, 2 catches, 1 catch. It's a bizarre, like he just hasn't got as involved in the offense basically since Christmas. And it's just interesting. I am not diminishing his value. I am very much hoping he's able to play. I think he brings a lot of attention. I think he's a guy that if options weren't presented, I think he's a guy that could eat in volume. But it's just interesting to see his involvement in like the last 5 weeks or so. Kadarius Toney, he's kind of started to pick up when he's been healthy too. So I don't know. This offense very much needs that guy that can kind of like the gadgety stuff. Like I think we've kind of established that. Kadarius has proven himself to be a little bit more than that, a little bit more dynamic than that. And somebody that if this guy can just stay healthy, like goodness, like that's the big if for him right now.